Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for international rugby. This one, the Barbarians taking on the New Zealand 15, the first of many games that are taking place today and should be a very fast-paced, entertaining type of matchup to start us off. For today, looking through at the starting sides. First of all, for the Barbarians. Now, this side you could class as a little bit of a South Africa B side with the amount of box that are featuring, but also a few internationals thrown in there for good measure as well. Oliver Kibble in the front row alongside Bongi Umbanambi and Asanati Klabakanyi slots in as the three. Ernest van Rijn alongside Ruben van Huren, who has been a consistent performer for the Stormers as of late. Layman Berkey is also the captain. He slots in at 6 with Harding and Evan Roos to close out this loose forward trio. Rodri Williams and Robert du Preez will be playing alongside each other in that 19 combination. Robert du Preez, a long-time stayer at the Sale Sharks, and Rodri Williams, the lone Welshman in this Barbarians side as well. Jansi van Rensburg in the midfield alongside Mateus Maroni. He is the only Argentinian to feature in this side. Lelion Zas out on the left wing. Vern Lecoq out on the right wing. He has been playing his rugby for Ulster in the URC, and then the Englishman Max Malins close out the starting lineup for the New Zealand 15. Their lineup looks at times similar to what we saw last year for this New Zealand 15 side, but at the same time, some new players added into the mix as well. For this team, Xavier Numia in the front row alongside Jack Taylor and George Dyer. So you'd say 2 out of the 3 have been right on the verge of making it into the All Blacks multiple times throughout the last year or two. Just haven't quite been able to convert it into AB's minutes. Josh Berry in the locking jaw alongside Caleb Delaney. Now, Delaney came into the squad quite late. That was due to all the injuries that we did see. Naito Akoi, as well as Isaiah Walker-Leawiri, both taken out of the side due to injuries. Kalen Boshier at 6, the captain. Dalton Papali at number 7. If there's one thing we know about New Zealand, they love having a skipper in that 7 jersey. And Devon Flanders, he will slot in as the number 8. He's versatile. He can play across this loose forward trio if needed. So definitely a player keep an eye out for in this game. Xavier Rowe alongside Josh Jacob in that 9 and 10 combination. David Havili and Daniel Rona, they will make up the midfield. So a huge amount of experience for Havili and Daniel Rona, a consistent performer for the Chiefs throughout Super Rugby. He's very solid and should be able to offer a lot in that number 13 jersey. Ateno Nana Saturo out on the left wing. Caleb Tangitau is definitely one to watch out for. If you haven't seen a lot of this man, you certainly will by the end of this game. And then at number 15, it is Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins, and the same can be said about that man. He is a very talented player, plays for the Highlanders in Super Rugby Pacific. We'll be looking forward to his opportunity here. We have got there, I'm also doing the game, says Yalu, and also we have got there, I'm looking for backup. If DSTV feed don't work, cheers, says 1PS. So for us here in New Zealand, it is on Sky. I know that there was a lot of debate throughout the week about when this game and where it was going to be shown. So I don't think Rugby Pass have it, unfortunately, but yeah, Sky Sport here in New Zealand do have it as an option, being able to watch. This is a Springbok versus AB's B team, and Bok D team, says Wemar, and also we've got that hi from Eddie. Welcome in, hope you're doing extremely well. 20 days until the Ashes, says Kiwi Rob. Where can I watch the game? So if you are in South Africa, sadly DSTV is really your only option. I don't think they've got a huge amount of free options around, which is a massive shame, not on Stan and Oz, which I think is pretty brutal, definitely because of the fact, like, don't get me wrong, there are no Australians in this Barbarian side or the New Zealand 15, but it's still a game of international rugby taking place just before the Australia versus England matchup, so you would think they would at least maybe consider trying to get the licensing for it. And why isn't this game broadcast on Stan Sport? Great question. Like I said, you know, they are known as being that hub of rugby in Australia. But then this is the first international game. Yes, it's a friendly, but, you know, you think you'd show it for the first weekend of November. Oh, we are all up. Says Samuel in there. And also we have got there Hamish. Or where do I find the game on Sky Go, says Tanner. So it is on Sky Sport. I believe it's on Sky Sport 2 or 3. That's the one that I'm watching it on. Is it on DSTV? Apparently it is in South Africa. I got a 3-day pass to the Super Round next year. It's sold out. Says Novmum. How can I get that match, says Connor. I'm not too sure about the Northern Hemisphere, how to watch the Barbars game. Normally, it would be on some sort of sort of broadcaster, because we have seen, like I mentioned, a few of the Northern Hemisphere guys featuring. Supersport in South Africa has really dropped the ball dropped the ball here. Game is not being broadcast on DSTV, isn't it? So whereabouts is Juan Pierre Bosch watching? Because he's got there if the DSTV feed doesn't work. So you'd assume that means that he has got it somewhere available. It's not sanctioned, so no rights. Says Michael. And it does look like a great day by the looks of it. Brentford Stadium, I believe it is. Or in fact, it is GTEC Community Stadium is the more well-known name. As a delay or Southern, says Marcel. It is starting in around 9 minutes' time. They are just getting the team photos and whatnot. The Barbarians, of course, a historic type of side that you always get to see just have some massive highlight reel tries. And we have got their Premier Sport 01. No DSTV, says Sunny L. And there as well. And I think, says Marcel. And there as well. But we are just seeing the New Zealand 15 just about to make their way out onto the field. It's a bit interesting. Brad Weber having a bit of a chat to that side. Of course, he is the lone Kiwi in the other side. We have got their AU, says Daryl. And there too. But of course, do let me know who you guys think will be winning this contest. I believe just as the favourites is the New Zealand 15 by not a massive margin. But what we will quickly do is show you guys the benches that are in this match as well. It is going to be Andre Hugo Fente as the number 16 for the Barbars alongside Vermaak and Angia as that front row. Kobus Visa and Klaba Kanye, a couple future locks, or a couple future box, I should say, in the 19 and 20. Brad Weber, the lone New Zealander, Dan Duplessis, and also Reno Smith, who's been really strong for Benetton throughout the URC, so it is great to see him partnering once again with some South African teammates going head-to-head with the New Zealand 15. And off their bench will be Bradley Slater, Josh Fusitua, and also Siali Lawakai. Jamie Hanna comes in as the number 19. That is due to all the locking injuries, like I mentioned. Sean Withy, the 20. Kyle Preston, Reves Rehana, and Braden Enor. A trio of Crusaders to make their way off the bench. Now, of course, you can look through at previous fixtures for the Barbarians, and you can actually do the same with the New Zealand 15, but it doesn't tell you a huge amount because the sides are always so different. But these are at least the most recent Barbarians performances that we have seen. They were able to beat Fiji, that was in 2024, and then just earlier this year, going head-to-head up against the Springboks, losing 54 points to 7. Now, we actually saw more of the New Zealand 15 on that on that Barbarian side than we did see Barbarians from this match. In fact, no one in the Barbarians, I believe, was even playing in that contest, whereas some of the Kiwis were, the likes of a Jacob Ratamaitapuki Nipkins. We did also see Josh Jacob getting the chance for the Barbarians in that game as well. Last year for the New Zealand 15, they were able to beat Munster and Georgia. Now, that Georgian game was the one where we saw someone like a Duplessis Karefi really end up stepping up for the New Zealand 15, and he got himself the call-up because of the performances in those matches. So it just shows how important it is at this time of the year. If there are any injuries to the All Blacks, you are the front line. You're the next guys that get the opportunity. You're already up north, and they will be up north for that little bit longer. As you can see, England A as well as Uruguay, the next two games that the New Zealand 15 do have. But both sides in the tunnel. It's a bit of an interesting one, you know. You look at someone like a Dalton Papali'i going to lead this side out. You look at Klaba Kanye in the background, a Bongi Umbanambi. A lot of international players are of that caliber out there on the field at the moment for these two sides. We have got there, can I watch the game? Can't find it on Rugby Pass. Or how can I watch it, says Rico. Unfortunately, by the sounds of it, it is only on Premier Sports, was one option earlier on, and also Sky Sport 2 here in New Zealand. We have got there, so tell me, Hamish, why are your beard so big all of a sudden? I think it grew. It's probably the easy way, but I'm not sure what to do with it. I don't know whether it's coming off at some stage in the near future. Show the game for the love of rugby. Australia only cares about their own. Hard when you are a Springbok supporter. Says Francois, it is a shame because there was a game earlier on this year, I believe. I can't even think of who it was, but there was a game that wasn't even being shown in South Africa as well, and it was some sort of match similar to this. It might have been two A sides going head-to-head. Tell you what, the chat is going very quickly at the moment. Are you doing the Oz game at 4:05? And then South Africa versus Japan at 4:55. Correct, yes, I am going to be doing the first half of Australia versus England. That is because I made multiple attempts to try and find someone to fill in for that game, and everyone said no. So we're going to be doing a bit of a half and half situation, but then still continuing telling you what's happening in that England versus Australia game once it does start the South Africa-Japan one. But yeah, just down to me trying to do 50 things at once. That Samoa versus Tonga last week was the funniest chat I've ever seen. Hilarious. Says Nance Williams. We certainly had a lot of show the game. That is for sure. Definitely during that hour and a half where there was the lightning delays. Did you get sunburnt? Says Alyssa. I did a little bit, but I do also think that I got bitten by a bug, which I assume is what you are talking about up there. But yeah, unfortunately, it's very hard to hide it. So it's going to be slowly here all throughout the stream. We have got there Howdy Hamish. Looking forward to all those North versus South games. It's going to be a massive amount of them, and some very entertaining games alongside it. Currently, we have got the New Zealand National Anthem playing. Afternoon, everyone. Great day ahead for rugby fans, says Jimbo, and there as well. But do let me know your score predictions for this game. Like I mentioned, very unpredictable when you see two sides that don't normally play together, playing together in this case. We've got a big bit of effort going into the National Anthem, though, that is for sure. But almost ready to go for this match. It's Umbanambi playing for the Barbarians. He is a Springbok hooker on standby. As the thumbnail just rolling, he is out there. Bongi Umbanambi alongside Evan Rus, who is also on that standby list for the Box. So yeah, they are both out there. If there is a way of sneaking them some more rugby, Rassi, of course, would say absolutely go for it. You know, on the Island match tonight, we are indeed up against the All Blacks. I reckon the Barbars will take this one, says Marius there. And also, we have got predictions for Ireland versus New Zealand. We did give a prediction in that preview. I think I went New Zealand by 5. And then for that one, what time is Box versus Japan, says Antonio. That one will be kicking off at around, I believe it's 6:15 p.m. South African time. Are you actually showing the game? Sadly not. It would get us taken straight off YouTube with a copyright strike, probably from Sky Sports, I would say, as they are one of the lone broadcasters of this matchup. They are just showing Kyle Preston and Reves Rehana next to each other, two youngsters. You did actually see Reves Rehana play for the Crusaders up against Munster. So he has had a bit of a different kind of matchup up north before that he's played in. And we have got there, where can I watch this game in South Africa? Sadly, they don't sound like they've got any broadcasters for this match, which I think is really crazy when you consider the fact that about 80% of this Barbarian side is South African. You know, take out the fact that it's the Barbars, but the fact that it is almost the South African Barbars and they aren't showing it just makes no sense to me. We have got there, looks like you have a dose of the dreaded Waimeti rash. That's not a real thing, is it? But looks like the All Blacks XV, or the All Blacks 15, are about to do the haka, and we will be underway for this matchup. Premier Sports is not the Irish version showing, sadly, says Shane. And yeah, just the one Irishman off the bench at tight head prop for this Barbarian side, although I'm sure there would still be a lot of people from the north wanting to watch it. We have got there Rayana to staunch to sing Anthem. And where are the South Africans watching? Sadly, it doesn't sound like they are, which is just crazy. The more you think about it, the more you realise how insane that is, that a team that is dominated by South Africans does not have South African coverage. And we have got their Soldier Field, Chicago, Ireland versus New Zealand. I think New Zealand win by 10-14. Says Shane there. The national anthem has now been sung. We have got their prediction for All Blacks versus Ireland. So we did do that preview, which we did end up saying about 5 points in favour of the Kiwis. But Brad Weber doing the stare down with the New Zealand 15. We are now almost ready to go for this match. Xavier Numia slapping himself silly before the match does get underway. Hey, says Shriek, welcome in. You are doing extremely well. Hope you are rearing to go for this matchup. It is the first of many international games that are taking place today. New Zealand by 10. No broadcast from our country, South Africa, says Henry. And there as well. And more joining them in an eye-to-eye. And speaking of bugs, fun fact, the first computer bug was a moth. Is that actually was a moth? I don't know whether or not you're joking or not, but I wouldn't know if it's correct or not. I'm a South African, but this island game is special. Says Gavin, an amazing weekend, says Shri. And this game isn't even showed on Super Sport, even though the Barbarians are the second string South African side. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? you can see the Springboks literally in action for this contest. The likes of an Umbanambia, Klabakanye, Evan Roos, Lelion Zas, maybe a future Bok, Werner Kok, an ex-Bok. And it is Nick Berry who will be in charge of this contest. The Barbarians to kick off from left to right, and we are underway for this contest. Going to be nicely taken by the New Zealand 15, just inside of their 22. And Cheer Brother says, Kazi D, and I hope to see Papali'i again. And that's the thing. If he can avoid an injury in this game and play well, you're right on the verge of making your way into that All Blacks if there is some sort of injury there. I know that they have got a lot of loose forwards in that AB side. That one's going to be booted into touch by the New Zealand 15. Barbarians now with their first line-out opportunity, about 25 metres from the line. And what we're quickly going to do, ladies and gents, is we're going to go like this. And hopefully, with a little bit of luck, we'll switch to that. And we'll go like that. There we go. Hopefully, you guys are able to see the lineups a little bit better there. With it in the background, now currently sitting about 25 metres out from the line. It was the run from Evan Roos, Rodri Williams. Straightening run there from Harding. Now pick and go. Williams trying to find a gap, but he's smashed backwards by Devon Flanders. Put in a few dominant tackles throughout the Bunnings NPC. Low chop and tackle from Josh Berry, the Blues representative. Now back across to the right-hand side. This Barbarians backline already clicking beautiful hands. Going on the outside. Never mind, he just got tripped by his teammate there, Max Malins. But they're 7 metres out from the try line. Now Matthias Maroni actually getting the opportunity to play half there. Rodri Williams shifts it away to the left-hand side. Now almost getting over the line, Evan Roos, still the 5 metres short, but this has been a great start to the match for the Barbarians. In fact, you could say it's almost a dream if they do get themselves the try, but Dalton Papali'i, the captain, he almost had the steal. Klabakanye goes over, and a little bit of a taunt in the face of the Kiwis as well. I think there was maybe like a viper or something he kind of did there, the cobra perhaps, from Klabakanye. Of course, the Barbarians, they are known for celebrations when they score tries, and that will be a big one early on for the side. Kaboom, says Juan Pierre Bosch there. But it's just a nice backline movement. Matthias Maroni passed on the outside to Malins and then eventually foot tripped him, unfortunately, as he was rolling forward. Others not South Africa B, more like H, says Tempt in there as well. Although they've got a few guys on the Springboks standby list. Of course, you've got those ex-Boks, someone like a Werner Kok had an incredible Sevens career. Klabakanye is a future Bok opportunity around the corner for that man. That one has gone over. Makes the score now between these two sides 7-0 in favour of the Barbarians. But Azanathi Klabakanye on the board already. And I guess that answers the question from Alyssa of who scored. It was a Klabakanye. Now the Barbarians taking this one inside of their 22. We don't want any voice disappearing as of yet. Getting onto it now. Trying to get the steal was David Havili. And Klakania, a future Bok, absolutely. The way that he was able to play in the Under-20s Championship alongside the likes of a Vusi Moyo, a Hassim Pede, a Nebelele. Got plenty of guys coming up through the ranks at the moment from that junior Bok side. Kicking downfield, Rodri Williams. That's a great exit from the Barbarians half. What a start by the Barbars, absolutely. Coming out firing, phase after phase, and New Zealand 15 just not quite able to stop them. Are we going to watch this in South Africa? Sadly, there is no option in South Africa, which I think is a massive shame, as this side has so many South Africans scattered all amongst it. 40 metres out from the line, the New Zealand 15 in possession. It's in the hands of Jack Taylor, the youngster. Some thought that maybe it was going to be McAllister in that starting lineup. Xavier Rowe going short side. That was almost a little bit high. It is going to be play on. Big tackle made from Werner Kok. Looked like the cameraman may have had a bit of a trip on the sideline as well. Xavier Rowe cutting it back in. Two-man tackle on Caleb Delaney, and it's a two-man Bok tackle by Umbanambi and Klabakanye. Advantage in favour of New Zealand. This one bouncing awkwardly. Great pace shown. Tell you what, Havili's got close to that. And I don't think you would have backed him in a foot race there to be able to beat pace for pace with Werner Kok. Oh, okay, straight away, Havili's just said, nah, I've knocked it on. So it is going to be a goal line dropout. A little bit of honesty there from Havili. He didn't want them to go upstairs. That was one of the more dangerous things that we've seen from this All Blacks 15 side. But yeah, David Havili throwing back the years. the way that he was bursting down the wing there. I'd use the US as your country, says Gavin there. I see you're dressed for the occasion. Is it the wedding suit? It is not quite the wedding suit. No, it's a different shirt than that one. Probably same tie. Oh, no, I didn't wear a tie to that wedding, so no. It's completely different. And the pants definitely are as well. I'll get looked at funny if I wore these to a wedding. Now going off to the right-hand side. Little kick attempted in behind from Josh Jacob. Just skids into the 22 of the Barbarians. Already the first 5 minutes down in this contest. Where are you watching this? I am watching on Sky Sport 2 here in New Zealand. So it does seem to be one of the better options around for this matchup. Getting ready to throw this ball in again now for the New Zealand 15. A little bit of pressure on Jack Taylor to make sure that this one's going relatively straight. Oh no, in fact, sorry, it's Bongi or Manambi with the line-out throw. Of course, Jacob kicking that one into touch. Wasn't quite the 50-22. Nice attack and run from Evan Ruiz, making a couple extra metres. And now Rodri Williams, little chip in behind. New Zealand XV running onto it though. Nicely taken by Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins, who's wearing 15 on his back. The guy caught with steroid. I assume you're talking Glaba Kanye. That one's going to be knocked on. Although the hearing is still going on. It's a bit of a weird one because it was cleared by the medical staff for a start. But yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to be fine because of it. Because it was all declared. It was all above board. There was no sneakiness about it. It's just they were given some pretty bad information. Euro sites might come and clutch these three. And as well, now going off to the right-hand side, what countries did the Barbars pull from? Mainly South Africa with one Scotsman, one Welshman, one Irishman, two Englishmen, one New Zealander, passed out wide, one Argentinian. I believe that's the whole side. Now step on the inside. Etena Nina Saturo, 10 metres out from the line for the New Zealand 15. Xavier Rowe going across to Devon Flanders. Xavier Rowe trying to use this one quickly, gets it into the hands of Jack Taylor. He's wrestled down at a good tackle by Kebble. Now 15, in fact less than that, about 7 metres now. Xavier Numia chopped down. The tackle from Ernest van Raan. The Barbars up very quickly, but the knock on comes from the New Zealand 15, now booted downfield. And this is going to be a very good territory gain, or almost the 50-22 for the Barbars, but New Zealand go from 5 metres on attack to now about 25 metres from their line with the line-out throw. We have good there. I hope All Blacks 15 get the job done. Hope Dalton Papali'i makes a good impression as captain. Who's your ones to watch for the game, says Rugby Itch. So in terms of this New Zealand 15, I really want to see Caleb Tangitau get a decent amount of ball, because if we see him get some decent minutes, that means if there's any sort of injury for New Zealand, I think he's the next guy in. Although they have also got Che Fiaki in the squad, who did not feature in this match, which was a little bit surprising. I don't know whether or not that is because he is one of those first guys on the standby list for the New Zealanders. Nice offload there from the Barbars. Here we go. This is the normal Barbarians classic style of rugby, we would say. Rodri Williams going off to the right. Skip pass from Malins. It's bounced and it's a knock on from Ernest van Raan. They'll go back for the scrum round the halfway line. I see your streams is going to overlap the South Africa game. I presume you're only going to do the first half of the England game. Yep, so that is the plan. I did try and find a fill-in for England-Australia. Asked multiple people. Everyone said no. So we're doing that first half and then jumping over to Box versus Japan. It will probably make quite a few people quite angry. But the other option was going to be doing none of that game whatsoever. And good day, says Jeremy. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Tell you what, the chat is going very quick for this Barbarians matchup. I do have to say it is greatly appreciated you all being here. A little bit of a huddle here for New Zealand at the moment, as well as the Barbarians. Just a bit of a composure session for the forwards. Which channel is the game on? It is on Sky Sport 2 here in New Zealand. They've got their Sky Sport, and then they've got the Olympic rings, I just realised. And it's the official broadcaster. When is the Olympics? That's like 2028, isn't it? I feel like we're a little bit early to be advertising the Olympics. And good to be here, pal. You're top notch, says Tokolo. Thank you very much. And we have got plenty more coming up today. We've got that first half of England versus Australia. We've got the box game up against Japan. And then also alongside that, the match between New Zealand and Ireland. And Furious, says Studs Race. And then World Rugby didn't really plan this very well. Could have started the Scotland game earlier. Well, they could have done a lot of things differently about this first week schedule because they've also got the Monday, or it would be the Sunday over there games that they could have done. This, or maybe like it wouldn't have taken much to just adjust a little bit. You start England versus Australia perhaps an hour earlier, and then maybe this game takes place on a Sunday. Glad the tie's back, says Brendan. We're to watch in South Africa. Sadly, only with a VPN will be your option of being able to watch it. Now ready to feed this ball in. Xavier Rowe, is it showing on TV somewhere? Only in New Zealand and I think in the US, maybe Flow Rugby does have it. And then also Premier Sports, by the sounds of it, does have this matchup as well. But that scrum took a couple minutes to get underway, but now Xavier Rowe going back across to the right-hand side. David Havili trying the cross kick, goes to Caleb Tangitau, just had no option but to run it into touch. And great day for rugby, says Jeremy there. Winter Olympics are February next year. Oh, okay, I get you. Still quite early to be advertising it, isn't it? I wonder how many Kiwis we're going to be sending to that Winter Olympics. And Drew Hamish, my 4-year-old niece, plans her day better, says Sakabula. Well, it's like next week. I've seen that Australia versus Italy overlaps with England versus Fiji. And it's like those are two big matches. But again, schedule seems to just not quite work out. Rodri Williams going off to the right-hand side. Little grubber in behind from the Barbarians. That one's skidding on quite nicely into New Zealand 15's 22. And that one's going to be booted into touch round about the halfway line. Which player scored? It was Azanathi Klabakanye who managed to score the first try. In this contest, damn, Zach Gallagher could have been in this game if he didn't go to Japan. Says Tanner, Zach Gallagher probably could have been in the All Blacks within 18 months had he not gone to Japan. But there are quite a few guys. I saw that Thomas Umanga Jensen also has now signed a Japanese contract alongside his brother Peter Umanga Jensen. I feel like it's something we're going to see a lot of in the near future. Bongi Manambi throwing it in, nicely taken by Ruben van Heeren in the lock. Number 5 jersey for today. Backline movements, nice from the Barbars. Max Malin's passed on the outside, cutting in as Leleon Zas, before he is dragged down by Flanders, as well as Caleb Tangitau. Klabakanye pops it up. Robert Dupria, cross kick attempted now from the Barbarians, straight into the hands of Levenberg, the captain. Let's get tackled by Xavier Rowe. Now Ruben van Heeren, little offload, and that one's going to be dropped by the Barbars. Has travelled forward. Going to be another scrum feed in favour of the New Zealand 15. They're advertising Xmas now, so they're punting the Feb Olympics. And TNT Sports, says Dave, is another option. It's not on Premier Sports. And we have got there, where's Richie Mo'unga? He is still waiting, I think is the best way of describing it. He will be back for the New Zealanders next year. But this game would have been classed as too early for his return. And we have got there, why is there no coverage for South Africa 4th team? I have no idea. Like I mentioned earlier on, about 80% of the side is from South Africa. Yet, that is one of the countries that haven't picked up broadcasting rights to be able to show it. I knew from the beginning of this week the Barbarians match was not going to be shown on DSTV. Listening to you was my only option. Says Morna, and what is the venue? They are playing, it's Brentford's home stadium in the Premier League. It is in London. And it's called, I think it's G-Tech Community Stadium or something along those lines. I hope Evan Rus scores, says Clever Bucket. And Bongi lucky it's an exhibition game. It won't be called for his crooked line-out throws, says Freshman. And G-Tech Community Stadium, G-Tech Stadium, London. What did I say? I know I had a G in there. Did I say G-Tech or did I say G something else? Might have been G something else, but 11 minutes into this contest, and it's still 7-0 for the Barbarians. Now, the scoreboard on the screen actually has 5-0, but they did get that kick straight over. How to watch in South Africa. Sadly, the only option is to set yourself to a different location around the world with a VPN, and then probably you'd have to buy a broadcasting subscription for somewhere else. Oh, that one's going to go down. Where can I stream this? Please answer me, says Ray. So, once again, it is available on Sky Sport here in New Zealand. On TNT, sounds like it is another option, but it does all depend on where you are in the world as to what options you've got. Who scored? Tuned in now. So Klabakanye got the first try for the Barbarians. And we have got there, where to watch in South Africa. Sadly, no broadcaster, which makes no sense, once again, because of the fact that there are so many South Africans in this team. including that man, Klabakanye, in the front row, alongside Bongi Umbanambi and also Ollie Kebble. Scrum resets. We've seen a few of them already throughout this match. It's because Flow Rugby had the rights to South Africa Rugby. Says Gavin. Are now ready to feed this ball into the scrum for Xavier Rowe. They have got Kyle Preston, who will make his way off the bench. Bit of a rough pass there from Rowe, too far out in front. And an awkward bouncing one, but it does go into touch. 42 metres out. Chance here for another line out. I think it might be 5-0. The flags didn't go up. Did he actually miss that one from quite close to straight out in front? If it is the case, I see that the scoreboard's still ticking over, but I guess 5-0 could be on the cards. You must feel a bit of empathy for us, unfortunate. Watching you enjoy watching the game. It's just unfair. Surely sometimes you think to yourself, "If all's low," says Francois. No, I feel bad because that's the thing. If we could show it without being copyright struck and without it being illegal, we would. Which I think some people think that we were just holding on to it, like we're trying to, have the monopoly of the game. But yeah, sadly, it is just really unfortunate that, if it wasn't broadcast in South Africa, it should have just been on YouTube as an option. On SuperSport would have, well, I guess SuperSport, no, maybe not, but the Barbarians YouTube channel could have been a great option. Oh, that one's going to be charged down. Now, another offload. Now, Jansi van Rensburg going off to the left-hand side. Big driving tackle on Lelion Zas by David Havili, but I believe it's actually come off Havili's hand. So it does mean that it will be the line-out chance for the Barbarians. I heard a lot of the squad is made up of teammates. Maybe they have more cohesion. Oh, yeah, there's a few guys. Like the Springboks players, there's probably about 3 or 4 in that starting lineup. Quite a few Stormers across the lineup too, but you'd think that the New Zealand 15 would have the more chemistry, wouldn't you? But at the moment, they have taken a little bit longer to gel. Now, Evan Russ going to be tackled well by Jack Taylor, forces him sideways. Rolling this ball back, it will be Rodri Williams, the Welsh veteran. It's gone high. Around the halfway line, Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins runs onto it and takes it under high ball. In fact, it's going to be Josh Jacob who is tackled in the air, so the penalty goes the way of the New Zealand 15. They are just saying anytime a player is in the air like that, you cannot make the tackle on him. Now Josh Jacob here is looking to kick that one into touch. Misses touch though, trying to go for as many metres as physically possible, but with a mistake like that, it does mean now the Barbarians, they will be able to clear their lines. They are just showing a replay. I don't think they realise that the ball didn't go out. And the New Zealand 15, I think, tried to take that line out quickly. And it might have been a forward pass. We didn't actually get to catch that one. Jacob sucks. Says freshman. He does seem to panic in big games a little bit, Josh Jacob. We saw that up against the South Africans in the last game for the Barbarians. He actually was playing for the Barbars in that one. Nicely taken by Ernest van Rijn. A bit of an awkward bouncing one for Rodri Williams. This time a penalty going the way of the Barbars. Oh, I think Rodri Williams wanted to take that one quickly. That is something that is normally classic Barbarian style. Keep the game ticking over. Loftus Bok instead 24-17 in favour of the Barbars. And it looks like the Barbarians, of course, they are going to kick this one for the corner. I feel like there was probably about half a sentence of debate in that case before it was said, nah, corner every time. And there's a good kick about 15 metres from the line now. Bongi Umbanambi. Imagine a rolling maul here from the Barbars. They've certainly got the size in the forward pack. Are going to switch games when England versus Australia starts. Theoretically, England-Australia should finish after or start after this game. So that's roughly when we got it scheduled for. So hoping to go straight over to that game after this one is finished. And then at halftime in that game, we'll be going over to Japan versus South Africa. Thrown in by Bongi Umbanambi. Nicely taken by Liebenberg. Hi, Hamish from Durban, says Brian. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well now. Rolling maul here for the Barbarians. Not really going forward as of yet, but now it starts to march. It's gone down. Rodri Williams passes across. Jansi van Rensburg. Robert de Pree bounce past the Malins. Drop ball from Lelion Zas. Was looping around. A lot of pressure on the Kiwis. They will go back for that scrum. We have got there, will be interesting how Brad Weber plays. Yeah, the man making his way off the bench, the only New Zealander in this contest for the Barbarians. How late is England versus Australia kickoff? Says Loftus Spot. The kickoff for that game happening in about an hour and a half's time. A long day in the saddle today, mate. Lozenges at the ready, says Dominic. I haven't got any lozenges, but I probably should have. It's going to be a lot of talking all throughout. And I should mention for the next, I think it's about 5 hours, we are still going to be sitting here in this seat because there are pretty much no breaks in between the 3 matches that we are doing. We're pretty much going back to back to back. So hopefully the voice does survive, I guess is the best way of putting it. We have the rugby was not started in South Africa, but it was perfected in South Africa, says Casper. And do the Barbar Black Sheep, says Ray. And we have got there as well. Nick Berry doesn't like blowing for penalties, says Kiwi Rob. He's normally the opposite. He normally loves a penalty. Going in about 6 times free on YouTube. Use a VPN, but listen to Hamish commentary, says Gavin. And that's going to be the penalty going the way of the Barbarians at scrum time. They have got Umbanumbi as well as Klabakanye up front and Kibble too. Hamish is the Duracell man. You can go for hours. Have you got a piss bottle nearby? I do not, but hopefully the bladder will be able to hang on up until after that South Africa-Japan one. Which is why it's brave drinking water at this stage. Tell you what, the voice is already struggling. We've only done 18 minutes. And surely this is a better competition than last year. Last year's competition was an absolute joke. Says Tanner too. Now ready to throw it in, Bongi Umbanumbi. Was that for the Barbars, Tanner? Are you talking about that game earlier on this year between the Box and the Barbars, or the one between Barbarians and Fiji last year? Now off to the left-hand side. Pick and go for the Barbarians. They are in a very good position on the field. As Anafi Klabakanye does get it off to the side to Ruben van Heeren. Lachlan Boshier trying to get the steal in the breakdown. Can't quite get it. New Zealand 15 really struggling for possession. Evan Roos, has he got it down? Yes, he does. And Evan Roos scores the try for the Barbarians. They've got 2 in a row. Your pronunciation is good. I'm impressed, says Ray there. But Evan Roos, another Springbok international, scoring the try in this contest. Massive smile on his face. Less of a celebration than Klabakanye in terms of the afters. But 10-0 for the Barbarians here. New Zealand struggling to get any sort of possession. Not a real Barbars team. South Africa 15 versus All Blacks 15. Well, in that case, the South African 15 are up by 10. Who are the coaches of these teams? Says Roger. New Zealand 15 is coached by... Jamie Joseph, there we go. I was going to say, why can I see him but can't think of his name? And then Barbarians... Is it Pat Lamb who's in charge of the Barbar side? I'm not actually 100% sure who is the coach for this one, or I can't really remember it off the top of my head. And Hamish all, and that kick has gone over, making the score now 12-0 in favour of the Barbarians. One of the few internationals who can say Rus. Well done. I feel sad for Paraguay. Yeah, unfortunately got into the repechage just to then have to forfeit their position. And Pat Lamb, yes, says Farid. And yes, Pat Lamb for the Barbars. And now 12-0 in this contest. Josh Jacob ready to kick it off for the New Zealand 15. They just haven't really got the ball that much. And I feel like a couple little mistakes. We think back to that Josh Jacob moment where he missed touch. New Zealand from there probably had to defend for a good few minutes. And hello, Hamish. Says Kanavikan. Well, says Boderick. Little knock on there. This time it was Rodri Williams making the mistake. So it does give the All Blacks 15 a chance. Just outside of the 22. John Dobson is the Barbars coach. Says Gerhard there. And Barbarians don't need a coach. Yeah, I think the coaches normally are just the tactics men, aren't they? In terms of what type of little set play we're going to see for the year. Normally each coach has their nice little extra. But the forwards so far are doing extremely well. We heard you, Morning. Says, listen there. And Pat Lamb at Bristol or Bath. Can't remember. I believe long-term contract with the Bristol Bears. He's been there for quite some time. They did have a patch where it looked like they weren't sure whether or not they were going to get him again, and then they locked him in for about 5 years from a little while ago. and more live games after this. A massive amount of live games after this. We've got England versus Australia for the first half. We are covering on the channel. Then from there, South Africa versus Japan. And then New Zealand versus Ireland. Tino Nana Saturo running down the wing. Tackled by Vern the Cock. Now, Xavier Rowe on the inside. Caleb Delaney. The All Blacks 15. They need some tries and they need some soon in this game up against the Barbarians, who have had the much better start to this game. Evan Russ trying to get the steal and the breakdown, hands straight down, but he was complaining to the ref that he did get the turnover. I don't know whether or not that was the case. Kalen Boshier, now Dalton Papali'i. First time we've seen him for quite some time. That's an offside position from Matthias Maroni, so it will be advantage going the way of the All Blacks 15. Little shovel on. Xavier Numia has got that ball dropped, so they will go back for another penalty. 5 metres out from the line, offside from Matthias Maroni. Actually tackled from the wrong side. It's probably a little bit cynical, just out from the try line, but it hasn't cost them too badly. Undefeated Stormers coach in the URC this year, John Dobson, along with Pat Lammer, the two Barbarians coaches. Says Neil there. And Barbars definitely need a coach. Someone has to make sure the beers are cold, says X. And Barbars line out is extremely dangerous. New Zealand 15. Where'd that go? It disappeared. I've got to find a way to compete. Now ready to throw this one in. Jack Taylor just out from the try line here. 5 metres. Best chance of the day for the All Blacks 15. And now the rolling maul. Big collision there with Josh Berry. I think he felt that one in the ribs as he was coming down, but it is moving nicely, the maul. Currently shuffling sideways. Ruben van Heeren trying to go through the middle. Xavier Rowe off to the left-hand side. Harveli throws himself at Jansi van Rensburg. Getting close now, Harveli. Only a couple metres out. Picked up by Boshier. Reaches out, tried to score it, and he's knocked the ball on just short of the try line. The Barbarians inside of the 22. A crunching tackle made. They're just inside of their in-goal area. They did still have the knock-on advantage there, the Barbars. That one's kicked downfield, and it is going to be now play on for the New Zealand 15. Another step. Caleb Tangi Tau. Labenberg got his head on the wrong side there, but luckily he hasn't ended up knocking himself out. Rowe goes off to Dalton Papali'i. Chopping tackle by Clubber Kanye, as well as Jansi van Rensburg. Little step there from Jack Taylor, but shut down by the rush defence of Cock and Kebble. Now going off to the right-hand side. Shovel on from Josh Jacob. Ateno Nanasatoro showing off his step as the two Chiefs players linking up there. Now thought about it on the outside. Rona inside pass to Josh Jacob. Driving tackle on Jacob Rata Maita. Vuki Nepkins and Robert Dupria wins the turnover penalty. And then New Zealand, you F that one up. Yeah, Kalen Boshier thought his arms were a little bit longer than they were, just short of reaching the try line. Hello, Umbanambi down at the moment with an injury here. However, I think Ireland has a very good chance of beating the All Blacks. I do not know what to think of Ireland's match later on tonight. Dominant tackles all from one team. And we're going to see the replay here for Kalen Boshier. He obviously felt he was close enough to the try line to be able to reach out, and it was inches in it. We're talking probably about an inch short for Kalen Boshier. Yep, just short. I feel like that was one where he really needed to shovel it back rather than trying to reach out. What do you think about Levenberg? I think he's done well not to be knocked out, because he did make that tackle on Caleb Tangitel with the head on the wrong side, but he's a tough man, and looks like he's doing a good job as skipper for this Barbarians team. And the way the All Blacks play these days, the South African soccer team will beat them, says Casper. And also, hi Hamish and all, says, hey, no, welcome in, hope you're doing extremely well. Now line out throw for the Barbarians. Bongi Umanumbi 15 metres out from the line for the Barbars. And they will try and show the All Blacks 15 how to do a rolling maul effectively, and that is exactly what they've done. Penalty advantage. Bongi Umanumbi, Springbok number 3 scores. And at the moment, it is a Bok day and a half. Umbanumbi gets over. In fact, in terms of the guys on standby, and also have been in the Springboks this year, I think that's all of them have now scored, so showing exactly why they have been wearing the green and gold. But Bongi Umanumbi breaking off the bat gets a nice high five from Evan Ruz as well. Matched up my stream with the commentary finally, says Gavin, the Barbarians. I should have included a player from Paraguay in their team, says Boulders and Steel. And do you think New Zealand will be embarrassed of losing this game? I mean, they certainly came in as the slight favourites for this matchup. I think that if they lose by this margin, they'll be pretty disappointed, the New Zealand 15. They've still got 2 games of their tour, though, England A as well as Uruguay, but this is the best gelling of a Barbars team we've seen in quite some time. So gutted we can't watch this, Hano. It is a massive shame, the fact that it's not being shown on DSTV. And South Africa, Robert de Preer. Oh, hits the post, goes over. Making the score now 19-0. Favour of the Barbarians. Shout out to my best friend Scott, says Ray there. And South Africa 4 stringers, amateur League 15, embarrassing the AB's second team here. Says Eric. It's not the AB's second team, says Andrepion. And take note, there are some ex-Stormers also in the team, like Verna Cock and Bongi Umbanambi. Thus, a lot of players would have been coached by John Dobson to same extent, says Neil. And yeah, they are playing much smoother than the last Barbarian side that we managed to see. Now, Verna Cock tackled down the wing by Tenai Nanasatoro. Rodri Williams pops it up to Evan Ruiz, 25, out from the line. About 15 metres in, clean sweep 1. Says the Hobbit, New Zealand 15 is a nothing team. Type 5 are a bunch of no-names, says X. And Latvia are leading 52-0 up against Norway. The All Blacks XV aren't careful. That could be a scoreline we see by the end of this game. They have had 2 opportunities, big opportunities too, to be able to score on both of them. They have come up short now. Jacob Ratamaita, Vicky Nepkins. That looked close to a 4 pass out wide. Yes, it was. And now the Barbars are going to have themselves another scrum chance. The Barbars were offside. What channel are you watching on? Sky Sport 2 here in New Zealand. And Lebenberg, excellent. Strange that Rassi is not captain yet. Oh, great for the box, says Eric. I think the tricky part there for Lebenberg is because he's playing in that 6th jersey where Sio Kolisi has been for so long. Like if you take, let's say for instance, well, how old's Lebenberg? He's still got a couple years left in his career, doesn't he? So it depends on who goes first out of him or Kolisi, and then depending on who comes up through the rankings after. Do you have a spottle? I do not. No, we're going to have to hold it. Luckily, don't need to go yet. And hopefully won't have to go for another 5 hours. Sweden are playing Lithuania, looks like it, at half-time. This is not Jamie Joseph's squad, is it? Doesn't he coach the AB's second team? Oh, sorry, wait, so this is not Jamie Joseph's... So this is the All Blacks 15 that Jamie Joseph is coaching. Nick Berry just having a conversation there with George Dyer, Jack Taylor, and Xavier Numia, who scored, says Simply Real. Well, Springboks is the best way of putting it. Bongi Umbanambi, Azanati Klabakanye, and Evan Ruiz. So 3 Springboks, the try scorers for the Barbars. We look at this, South Africa will be playing against Niue in Rugby League, says Boulders and Steel. Will they? When's that game taking place, Boulders and Steel? Do let me know. The Barbars coach shouldn't be allowed to play frontline South Africa players. How come? They weren't selected in the international team. Like those guys on the standby list for Rassi. Oh, another penalty at scrum time for the Barbarians. Yeah, the guys who are on standby theoretically aren't in the squad. It would be no different to, any other team that have, it's just more the generosity of the box to actually name those guys who are right on the verge. Because most sides don't do that. They just have their hidden list. Who do you personally think is the best rugby team in the world? Says Clever Bucket. We talking international? We talking club rugby? This one's going to be just out from the 5-metre line. Another opportunity here for the Barbarians. And we have got there. Have you played rugby as a lad? I used to play, but not now. The South Africa B/D team could beat most teams in the world. Says Gavin. Now Umbanambi. Ready to throw it in. It's actually a little bit further out than I thought. Probably about 12 or so metres. Now taken by Ruben van Heeren. Not straight, but not contested. Big driving tackle from Dalton Papali'i. It's going to be the advantage due to the knock-on and the tackle coming from the New Zealand 15. Now Rodri Williams goes across to Ernest van Rijn. A little bit of a counter right there, so they will go back. As Ollie Kibble's son. Maybe. Kiwi Rob, Havili and Papalia, All Blacks. I'm a Kiwi too, no excuses, bro, says eat these. I'm talking about international. Well, at the moment, international-wise, there is a side that have done pretty well as of lately, and also are back-to-back world champs, who I feel like that's the team you want me to say, and that's the team that most would say in that scenario. Ruben van Heeren had some decent carries so far. I tell you what, couple injuries in the locks, and I would not be surprised to see that man's name go onto the list of Rassi's side. Almost like throwing in those curveballs. Zachary Porthan, the youngster, will get himself the opportunity later on. And we have got there, hi lads, how's it going? Says Big Rig. And I did New Zealand again and beat him down pretty hard. And shout out to my friend Ray. I just married to his husband Chris. Says, Ray, you have a lot of friends, Ray. Spelt differently to your name. I do see. Now, rolling there. Evan Roos tries the offload and it's just dropped. It's going to be a big opportunity, but not held on to by Rodri Williams. Already 32 minutes through this contest, ladies and gentlemen. It has been flying by. Has anyone come to the realise why New Zealand and the rest of rugby world have had a weekend since 2020? I will note that South Africans refused to take the jabs. He's one Pierre Bosch. Sounds like your conspiracy theories going around. You guys have a good Halloween. I actually forgot it was Halloween. So that tells you how good mine was. I didn't realise. A lot of people were doing Halloween today, though, here in New Zealand on the 1st of November. I saw on my way home from cricket a kid in a giant inflatable dinosaur costume. So that was interesting. I did not hit him with the car, I should clarify, which now that I've said that makes it sound like I did. Scrum fee for the All Blacks 15. So hype for today, says Gavin. There are a massive amount of great games taking place. Now this one's going to go into touch for the All Blacks 15. And it's pretty common to celebrate at the weekend regardless of the date, says Big Rig. And honest opinion, best ever 13. Danny Herbo or Brian O'Driscoll. It just depends on who you talk to, isn't it? In terms of that 13 jersey. O'Driscoll's right up there for a lot of people, though. And there will be trick-or-treaters tonight, says Big Rig. And also, we have got the what club team in the URC do you think is the best? At the moment, the Storm is the top of the bunch. Oh, overthrown line out, but it goes straight into the hands of the Barbarians. Roberto Pereira, shot por Lelio Zasu is chopped down by a Tenai Nanasatora. He's been one of the better players out there on the field for the All Blacks XB just at this point in time. Big bump off from Clubber Kanye on Devon Flanders. Conrad Smith better than both, says Freshman, who scored all the tries. Bongio Manambi, Clubber Kanye, and also Evan Roos. So 3 Springboks, the try scorers. Now backline movement for the All Blacks 15. Passed on the outside. Havili shoveling it on. Tenanana Satoro going for the kick in behind. This one's going to be bouncing awkwardly. Cleaned up though. And in fact, you could argue the perfect bounce to Rodri Williams. 2 men on the breakdown for the Kiwis. Ernest Van Ram with a crucial clean out there. Now Clubber Kanye, little attempt there in behind with a grubber. That was a risky option from the Barbarians, trying to kick it from inside of their own 22, but not looking to clear their lines. Now Josh Jacob, a little bit of a stutter step, 20 metres from the line. Clubber Kanye must be nailing them. He's a big unit, even with the fact that he lost that weight. He's still huge out there on the field. Bumped off Devon Flanders before. That's a missed pass for the New Zealand 15 as they put it into touch. Oh no, in fact, it may have come off the Barbarians' hand, so it will be a line-out throw for the All Blacks XV. However, the Evan Roos for the second try, Clubber Kanye for the first, and then Umbanambi for the third. And Zus is a Jimenez lad. I hope he gets a try, says Tony. And last night for you, mate, it's almost Brian night. And South Africa, says Kingers. Yeah, I can't believe we're already in November. Like, I remember about 4 months ago, we were saying, the November Internationals, they're miles away. We've still got a rugby championship. We've still got the July Internationals. Now it's almost Christmas. And, yeah, crazy. The year is flying by, almost 2026. Little kick in behind attempted from Tenai Nanasatora. Speaking of 26, if the Barbars score another converted try, they will be 26-0 up over this All Blacks 15 side. South Africa dominating once again. So here's Liam. Now ready to throw this one in. Jack Taylor, man in charge of it, says you. October went super slow for me, says Big Rig. Yeah, I swear I blinked and then we went from September to November. That's how it's felt for this season. Oh, a little bit early in the engagement, so the penalty advantage going the way of the All Blacks 15. Big shot from Bongi Umbanambi. Little bit of a juggle there for Dalton Papali'i. And Xavier Rowe, across to the right-hand side again, finds George Dyer, who is chopped down again by Umbanambi. He's been busy in this game. Oh, and that's going to be a turnover for the Barbarians. And a little bit of chat there between Labenberg and I think it might have been Jack Taylor putting in the late shot. Stupid says goal. South Africa game starts 1 hour after Australia. It's really weird. And then the thing is, you could actually look at it as New Zealand versus Ireland starts at, let's just say, 9 a.m. New Zealand time, just for an easy schedule to compare. Why couldn't that game between South Africa and Japan start an hour later? And then that way, no overlap. Yes, it would overlap with Scotland versus USA, but it wouldn't overlap with another game involving like a couple top 10 sides. How you doing, South Africa and Oz game, Hamish? They overlap by an hour. They do. I am doing the first half of the Australia-England game. I tried to get someone to fill in for me. In fact, I tried to get multiple people. They all said no. So I'm all by myself in terms of the commentary for those ones. Now Xavier Rowe back across there to Devon Flanders. Back to his feet. Wasn't held. All Blacks 15, they need a try before halftime. Here comes George Dyer, just 3 metres out. This is where they've really been struggling, though, to be able to finish it off when they are right out from the Barbars line. Xavier Rowe quickly recycled, goes off to the right. Well, that was a hospital pass. Labenberg getting a shot into Devon Flanders. Now another little step. Havili, 7 metres out from the line. Bit of a counter-ruck from Kebble. Now out to 10 metres. From the try line, Evan Ruiz just in straight off his feet in front of Nick Berry. I don't think he was going to win that penalty. Clean out from Papali, Xavier Rowe. Now trying to shovel it on, but it will be the penalty going the way of the All Blacks 15 for offside. And Danny Herbert is by far number 1 centre of rugby in all time. And London to me says Jimbo. And Scotland is top 10, Hamish. Says, listen, that is true. So, well, that's the thing. We've seen Scotland for one of their other games. They're playing on Monday. So it's interesting that they didn't play the USA on Monday as well. Like, it's just a lack of, I don't know. They've just done a schedule and then they've gone, oh, well, there's overlaps. Meh, no one cares. But people do care. I think Zembo says, Timmy, when was the last time a lot of All Blacks 15 played? They would have been playing in the NPC about 2 weeks ago. Was when we saw a lot of these guys in action for that. In fact, it was actually last weekend, wasn't it? The Otago versus Canterbury game is when we did see these guys last in action. Some of the guys before that, probably maybe a month. But yeah, a lot of them have been in action quite recently. And Rowe picked over Pledge as a disgrace, says freshman. Rowe picked in the starting lineup over Preston, I think, is just as bad. Or Fakatava, to that credit. Like, don't get me wrong, Xavier Rowe's a great player, but that was the one of the lineup that I was surprised about, the fact that they did start him. Now going off to the right-hand side, Xavier Rowe, skip pass out wide. This will be the chance. Caleb Tangi-Tau scores it. Oh, I think Robert Dupre thinks he's knocked that one on. And the question is he correct? And Rowe taking shots, says Big Rig there. Caleb Tangi-Tau, he scores his try for the All Blacks 15. He is a player right on the verge of making it into the All Blacks. If he put this ball down without dropping it, he will be a lot closer to that. But if he's done the one-handed finish, I want to see the replay here. He looked like he threw that at the line a little bit. Oh, there's not a huge amount of... Oh, he gets it down first and then that ball comes out. There's a bunch of players left out of the New Zealand 15, which is disappointing, says Studs Race. 2 weeks versus last week for a lot of the Barbarians, says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, although the thing is, these guys are professional rugby players, so, there's always going to be, at some stage, oh, that was a good kick from Josh Jacob. There's going to be guys who played more recently than others, but they still have to go out there and try. I don't think that's a good excuse as to why All Blacks, they're going to check the grounding here. Caleb Tangi-Tau has knocked that ball on, so it's going to be no try. That is a terrible finish by the sounds of it, and this one's going to be ruled out. Tangi-Tau, he'll learn the Rico Ioane treatment, which is put that ball down with 2 hands. Okay, one of the commentators is ripping into Tangi-Tau at the moment. They're saying, what is the point of trying to put it down with one hand? Just dive. Rookie mistake, says Eric. Absolutely. They're saying there about, is there separation? No, Tangi-Tau knocked that on, says Tanner too. How's it going, Hamish? Who's coach of the Barbarians? It is John Dobson and Pat Lamb. Okay, Nick Berry, I think, is going to rule this one as no try here. Hot take, but I think Evan Rose could be the Sia replacement. You going with him in the 6th jersey, Alyssa? I know that Eldrick Lowe's one that a lot of people are hoping can come back soon in terms of that loose ball trio. Yeah, Robert Duprea saw it straight away. They are checking this 57 times. No grounding, obvious. Says Gavin there. Yeah, that just looks like he's thrown that ball at the line. Caleb Tangi Tau. Oh. Okay. The on-field decision, tell you what, he's a lucky boy at the moment because that's going to be given as try because of TMO Christoph Ridley saying there is no way I can guarantee that his fingers do not still have that slight control of the ball. But that's a lesson there for Caleb Tangi Tau. Put the ball down properly or else that would cost them. And he will be very thankful for that one. Tangi Tau got anger issues with grass, says Michael. Do you think the Box win the next World Cup? They're definitely going to be contenders for 2027. Saved by the letter of the law. Good call, Cleaver. Says Jimbo there. Nicely taken by David Havili. And this is right on the halftime siren at the moment. Xavier Rowe. He will boot that ball out. They are done for the half. And the score sits 19 points to 7 in favour of the Barbarians. But a great start to this contest. I think Tangi Tau just having a bit of a conversation there with Jack Taylor, probably saying got pretty lucky with that one. Since video does not count, Vessel's case, just ask the ref if it is a try or not. If players say it is a try, then it is a try, even if it is not a try. So here's Eric, the English call that Aussies are using. Illegal clean-out was so clever. They're not trying to do anything but make sure the ref for the game is aware that they do this. Well played, says Timmy Smith. And does Robert Duprea play with the Sale Sharks? He does. He's been there for quite some time. How's Josh Jacob been playing? He's been getting better as the match has worn on. He was a little bit shaky at the start of the match. There was a crucial time where he needed to kick it into touch and he ended up missing touch. And then from there, Barbarians going pretty much the full length of the field and scoring. Sam was not touching at the time of the grounding. That's BS, says Gavin there. And go the Barbarians, says Eddie. And how can I award the try? I don't know. Can you? TG Energy says Big Rig. They shouldn't be allowed to go back, says Kiwi Rob, as in like to check it after the conversion's taken. I believe they have right up until the next kickoff to be able to review it. South Africa teams used to struggle. Visiting Australia back in Super Days will be even tougher in 2027 as many of their squad won't have been selected, I assume that is, from X. Tangi Tau probably got away with that one. Reminds me of Rico against Australia. Exactly right. As soon as I saw it, I said, don't do a Rico. Because that game, if I'm correct, Rico dropping that ball over the try line, was that the difference between a win and a loss for the Kiwis in that contest? And poor, but to be fair, they all are, says you. And also, okay, thanks, says Gasper there. And also going to make coffee, get your biltong, Hamish. Yeah, I still haven't got any biltong from the supermarket. I'll have to try it at some stage. I wish they would wait until the try is given before doing the conversion. Feels BS when they make the conversion and then it's disallowed. Yeah, see, it used to be they had up until the kick was taken. And then they did change it because they wanted to give the TMOs just a little bit more time to be able to react and have a look through. But yeah, it does feel weird when you get the kick and then straight away after they go no try. Rico could be a serious crime group like gang, says Michael. Where are you from, brother? I am from New Zealand, so it is currently sitting 3:04 a.m. here for us Kiwis. A nice early morning start, but after this one, we have got the England versus Australia game. Also alongside that, South Africa versus Japan. And then following that one, there is also the match taking place between New Zealand and Ireland. When South Africa versus Japan on New Zealand time. New Zealand time, that game will be kicking off at 5:10, I want to say it is, or 5:15, one of those two. Where do you stream from? As in, like, country-wise, I am in New Zealand. We have got there Scotland versus USA, don't forget. Says Big Rig. Yeah, a few overlaps for this weekend. Also, while I'm at it, I might as well show you guys, hopefully, with a little bit of luck, I should be able to show you the international schedule for next weekend. As long as everything runs smoothly. We'll also be looking through at the benches on this one as well. What we're going to do is we're going to go like that. Click that button, and hopefully, a little bit of luck. There we go. Those are all the international games next week. Now, I will mention these ones up the top are also the same day as those ones there, the November 9th for us here in New Zealand, or it will be November 8th for you guys in South Africa and the Northern Hemisphere. But Scotland versus New Zealand, that is the first match of the rugby weekend. Spain play Ireland A. Italy versus Australia. England versus Fiji. Who did that scheduling? Those two sides should not be playing at the same time. France versus South Africa, they will be the late game. And then also Georgia versus USA, Ireland versus Japan. Now, those are actually, I should mention the earlier contest. My apologies. I've actually got that round the wrong way. And then England A versus New Zealand, 15. See, what do you do there? Ireland versus Japan. That could be a very intriguing game. But England A, that was pretty much what we saw up against Argentina. They did very nicely. This New Zealand 15 side will be looking to bounce back, not just in the second half, but also in that contest. And then Wales, Argentina. That is the lone game on Monday. Now, the week after, we actually see two games on Monday taking place. We have got the, how you doing, the England and South Africa game overlap. Like I said before, we've got the first half that I am doing between England and Australia, and then popping over to South Africa versus Japan for the second half. Are you going to call them all? Not all of those ones that were shown, but we are doing those ones that I mentioned there. England, Australia, Japan versus South Africa, and then also Ireland versus the New Zealanders as well. Any bit of cricket tomorrow, Hamish, says Hayno. Is in like playing-wise or watching-wise? I assume you're talking about that women's ODI final between South Africa and India. Massive occasion for those two sides to make their way through to the final. Hamish, I haven't got the money to subscribe, but I can send you a bag of biltong. Subscribing's free, Casper. It's only the membership that does cost, but yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is completely free to do. You won't be charged, but you will be notified when we do go live on the channel, as well as the videos that come out. Wait, you said the try was disallowed, but the score still shows 7. That's because they decided that it was not disallowed in the end. Even though the first initial reaction said that it should have been, from there, it kind of switched. Anyone think it's weird? It's not clear and obvious, yet TMO interrupted anyway. Says Thuds Raised there, and a hi from Oslo. Says Michael, and Morena says the Hobbit there as well. The chat is going very quick. Are you a big batter? Says Michael. Show us a cover drive. Hook into the screen. Says Michael. I'm a slow batter, I think is the way I would describe it. I don't really score quickly. I take my time, and normally that does hurt in a T20. I've actually, weirdly enough, got a 6-second cover drive clip on my streaming software. So this might play if I click this. Oops, I clicked it again. Hopefully it doesn't play again. Never played that shot in a game. Would get caught if I did try it. But there you go, randomly have it there. We have got there, where can I watch the match? It is available on Sky Sport 2 here in New Zealand. Also alongside that, it is on TNT Sports. Someone did say earlier on, cricket jump scare, says Big Rig. What is that you, says Michael? That was me. Yes, thanks for explaining the score staying. Hamish says to me, no worries at all. Don't forget the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. Is it already the Melbourne Cup again? That happens once a year, right? I swear the Melbourne Cup was like 2 months ago. How is it already almost Christmas? We have got their scary skills. Just if I could use them in a match, I'd be dangerous, but I don't. I just use them in the nets. New Zealand forward physically going backwards for a while. Yeah, every tackle has been pretty much dominant from the Barbarians. You look through, Labenberg, he's put in a few big shots. Even the backs are doing very nice. Marvellous high elbow, says Studs Race. Yeah, it still can't do it in a game, sadly. I got off the mark yesterday with a reverse sweep, which is not ideal, and I shouldn't have done it, because if I got bowled, I would have been an idiot, but yeah, seemed like a good idea at the time. Can you answer Clever Bucket? They really want to know your opinion on South Africa versus France next weekend, says Timmy Smith. I've missed it a few times, haven't I? Whereabouts is it? I don't actually see it. Who said about it? Clever Bucket. Oh, there it is. What's your predictions for France versus South Africa? I think it's going to be close. It'll be a tough game, although I do want to know who South Africa are selecting before giving too many predictions, because, of course, that can heavily change how it works out. I play first-team rugby, but cricket-ish for the second team for school, says Loftus Bock. So this game is South Africa versus the AB, says Glenn Sell. It is closer to that than any other countries, I would say, for this game. How's it, Hamish? Says Anthony, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. What we will quickly do is we will show you guys the benches in this contest. There we go. And we'll go like this. We'll shuffle me to the side as well. But off the bench for the Barbars, they have still got some great options. Klakane, the youngster with a lot of talent there in the number 20. And if we're talking about physicality, of course, he is going to give plenty of it throughout the final moments of the game. Kobus Vesa also there, another Bok. And the trend at the moment is the guys who have had a Springbok cap this year have been scoring. So keep an eye out for Kobus Vesa. Brad Weber, the Kiwi, he is the lone Kiwi on this Barbarians team. The New Zealand 15, they have got a few handy options. Someone like a Jamie Hanna may be able to change this game around. He's a very handy option at line-out time, and definitely one that they will be happy to have out there on the field. Also, Kyle Preston, I don't want to be too harsh, but I feel like Xavier Rowe hasn't quite done the job here for the Kiwis. There's been a few times where he's been a little bit slow getting that ball moving, which is the last thing they want in this half. They need to get Raves Rehana on, says Dominic. I stopped playing before our reverse sweeps and ramps were punished by coaches. I did get yelled at for playing it, like, quite badly. And maybe get the mods to frequently post in the chat. We will not be showing the game, says Tonian. We've tried a few different bits and bobs in the past. Like, we've even had the message coming up along the bottom of the screen at one point, and it actually ended up with more people asking because they wanted to know why we couldn't show it. And then we've had the broadcasting one, and people still say just show it. So it's a tricky one to balance. As Daniel Ronan touched the ball, I saw him touch it once. He went with the inside pass, but that's it. That's the only time that I can remember him actually being involved. So I don't know. Maybe they take Rona off, put Braden Enor on early. Haven't seen Enor in such a long time. He had a really good NPC season for Canterbury. Defensively, was extremely strong. So what season is this? As in, like, for the rugby, this is the international friendly side of things. So no rankings points on the line for either side, but certainly bragging rights in that regard. What is your scoreline prediction for Japan versus South Africa? I think I went 43-15 in favour of the Box in my preview. And we have got there, what's your drinking or drink of choice when watching rugby? Normally water, because of how much I end up talking. So I do end up just drinking water throughout. This 15 is a sloppy bunch, says Matt. What's your go-to pie? Mince and cheese in New Zealand is go to see. I'm a steak and cheese kind of guy. How many South Africans playing for the Barbars? Crazy. Quite a few. I think 17 or so in the lineup. Final thoughts on the Jan-Hendrik Wessel saga. It's a weird one. But I feel like there's two very distinctive sides. And it's the ones who feel like he did it and the ones who feel like he didn't. And you're not going to be able to convince either side that they are wrong. So, yeah, it's just one of those ones. It's going to be a long time that it's debated for. But, like, it's happened, and sadly there's not much that can be done about it. How's Rob Dupree playing? He's actually been really strong in the number 10 jersey. He's put in a couple dominant tackles as well. We mentioned about some of those forwards who were putting in the big hits, but he managed to drive someone backwards not too long ago with the shot as well. Alongside that, I would say that him and Rodri Williams have been making quite a nice partnership in that 9 and 10 combination. We have got there how many minutes left of the game? Still another 40 minutes remaining in this contest. We have got from IFC, do you like men? I mean, not in the way that you're hoping, I assume. You're going to have to go on Grinder for that. We have got there, hydration is important, says Big Rig. It certainly is. But a hydration, never heard it. Well, actually, drowning. It's probably not the best type of hydration, but other than that, water's good for you. Definitely steak and cheese. Mince and cheese is just a little brother pretending to be like Big Bro, says X. What do you reckon the odds are New Zealand win? I can actually tell you the odds. The odds for New Zealand to win this game are $2.60. And Barbarians are $1.45. Now, that's actually the switch from what we saw at the start of this game. As New Zealand came in as the slight favourites. How long ago did the half end? It was about 8 to 10 minutes ago. So we are not too far away from the second half getting underway. How old are you? You look 20. I am a bit older than 20. I am 25. I had to have a think about that for a second. Leprechauns should enjoy the turf from close view. Okay. Both sides just about to make their way back out of the tunnel get ready to go for the second half. Now, I should mention, as soon as this game ends, we're going straight over to that next live stream that has taken place. That one will be England versus Australia. And then after that, we are going on to Japan versus South Africa as well. And thus, he hasn't been too bad. Couple touches and a bit of a driving tackle. Not a massive amount of chance for him out on that wing, though. I'll also mention Werner Kok. I don't think we've seen carry the ball once. I'm old enough to be your mother, says Novmum there. My prediction is Japan 37, South Africa 10. Wait. Wait, so you're going You're going Japan to win by 27. That's a bit crazy. I think even if they won that game by 3, Japan would be pretty happy. That means the Wallabies were world champs when Hamish was born, says Big Rick. Well, there you go. They would have also almost had the Bledisloe Cup too, wouldn't they? Looking forward to the Australia-England League game, says Matt. Yeah, that one's coming up in only about 15 minutes, isn't it? We have ending the Australia-England stream early. I think the Japan game starts while it's still going on. Yep, so we are just doing the first half of England versus Australia. I did ask multiple people whether or not they'd do the stream for me for that England-Australia match, and everyone said no. So you're stuck with me for the first 40, and then we're going to be jumping on to the build-up of that next game, Japan versus South Africa, while also giving updates on the continuation of that England-Australia match. New Zealand 15. They are going to be kicking this one off. Hopefully they sub out all the South African players in the Barbars team. Second half, says Vice. Well, they need to make a lot of subs. That is for sure. And no one doesn't like you anyway, says Dylan. And we have got there the guy who says that Japan will win is on TikTok. Is that from Ray? But now, second half. We are ready to go. Okay, that's a controversial comment. I swear I just heard the commentator say that Caleb Tangitel was helped out by the officials for his try, which, yes, it may be slightly correct, but I don't think a commentator's allowed to say that on the broadcast. But now, going to be kicked off by Josh Jacob, going from left to right. Get us back underway for this game in Brentford. I'm not sure what we're waiting for. All the players are on the field right now. We're good to go. 40 minutes, New Zealand, 15 down by 12. If the Springboks win if Japan, that's going to be dropped by Evan Ruiz, who didn't actually go for it initially by the looks of it, but it is actually going to be a knock-on. He actually may have just said that it came into his eyes. Or the sun, that is. Okay, they're actually going to be going upstairs to check this one, as sounds like Evan Ruiz doesn't think that he's knocked this ball on, so they will go upstairs and check it for him. He's just charging forward. Yeah, it didn't end up getting to it. It was off the knee and then knocked on by Caleb Delaney, so it will be a Barbarian scrum. And nobody wants to miss the box. So here's Gavin. That scrum feed now for the Barbars. Can't be bad, or can't look bad in front of Rassi, says Timmy, although he has already got himself the try so far, Evan Ruiz, in this game, and it was clear that he didn't knock it on, although he would have liked to make that ground. It did sound a bit weird, didn't it, Rory? I never underestimate Japan, says Caspi. Evan Ruiz is good. But has white line fever and always goes too fast. Says Vice Grip now off to the left-hand side. The Barbarian skip pass attempted. That was close to forward. A little kick in behind from Max Malins, running on to it nicely, sliding Josh Jacob, I should say. Now Xavier Rowe across to Devon Flanders. He's almost been invisible in this match with the exception of a couple of tackles that he's made. Ratamatavuki Nepkins wrestled down. Rowe goes back across to the left-hand side. Delaney hit hard by Ernest van Raan. Back into the pocket. Jacob will send it high. This one going across the field at Tenai Satoro. Takes it well. And in the end, Werner Kok didn't quite manage to intercept it. Offload there from Max Malins to keep the ball alive inside of the 22. And Rodri Williams has time to be able to kick it down to the halfway line. That one unable to go out on the full due to it being taken back New Zealand. Another cross kick attempted. Barbarians had that every day of the week. Very well watched by Lilian Zas. He now gets to kick that one downfield of his left boot. New Zealand has a player back in Josh Jacob, who will return fire with a kick of his own, and it's a 50-22 there for New Zealand. Hey mate, just logged in as Tangitau had a chance to show skills. He almost had a massive blunder. He scored a try, only just debatably hung on to it with his fingertips. He pretty much did that Rico Ioane put down from a few years ago. And yeah, almost had the whole thing cancelled out, but they did still award it. Other than that, not a lot of ball time for Tangitau. Go the Barbarians, show them the South African rugby, mentality, is it? From Johan? Menticity, is it? Hopefully I've said that correctly. Oh, loose ball. Picked up by Werner Kok. Mentioned how he didn't get a single carry in the first half. He's looked for the offload to Ernest van Rijn. Lost there by the Barbars. Now Rowe going short side. Tenai Nana Saturo tackled by Werner Kok. 10 metres out from the line. Jacob get the 50-22. He did indeed. Or it kind of was a 50-22, but it also wasn't because I think it hit Robert Dupree's hand. Now moving forward, they've been told to release it there. That's a lot of playing the ball on the ground from Evan Russ. They've been told to get out of it. Now Rowe goes across to Jack Taylor. Rush defence from the Barbarians. They need a try and they need it very soon. Good hands from George Dyer as he's driven backwards by the Barbars defence. Rowe taking his time there, not quite sure who he was going to go to. Eventually finds Xavier Numia. Are you saying clock too much? He's touched the ball a few times in recent times. Now Rowe goes back across. You want me to just say Werner? Does it make you feel more comfortable? Because Werner just made the tackle and the penalty one off the tackle of Werner. We have got their two non-South Africans just screwed up. Says Gavin, have the Barbarians been dominating in tight five? Pretty much. They've had some really good stuff up front. Two of their tight five have actually scored in this match. Should have taken the Otago young flanker on the strip. He looks like one for the future. Casey here. Lucas Casey would have been a great one send up north. Also Dylan Pleacher if you're looking at those Otago boys. And maybe even Cam Miller is another option that they could have looked at as a potential guy to take. But the Barbarians, they will have themselves the line out. 25 metres out from their line. And Alistair Vermaak will now make his way on. And we have there just joking. Says Ray. And what is Ray doing what is Rowe doing seriously? He seems to be very hesitant, doesn't he? I think Rowe's decision making is really bad sometimes. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be decisive in this matchup. And they have confirmed the Rugby World Cup draw for 3rd of December. Says, hey, no, they certainly have. I'm not sure of the time yet. But yeah, pretty much because of when that draw is being announced, it has stopped me from going to the test match between the Black Caps and the West Indies. Originally, that was going to be the plan, but now with that draw, I don't think I'm going to be able to. But, that one's going to be the penalty. And now quickly taken by Rodri Williams, trying to up the tempo. The Welshman goes through, past on the outside to Lebenberg. It should be a try, but Umbanambi's knocked it on. It was the chance and a half, but Bongi just not quite able to bring it back in. They just mentioned there that he could have got man of the match if he had scored that try. They've got the knock-on advantage, pick and go from Jack Taylor. A few extra crucial metres there and the big clean-out of Ernest van Rijn. This one doesn't find touch. Max Malins taking it at the back around the halfway line. Nice spin from Malins. He's lined up by Delaney who drives him back. Now Ruben van Heeren joining up with the back line. Wide cut-out pass into the hands of Matthias Maroni. Little grabber in line from Jansi Fans Rensburg. That's going to be a tricky one for the Kiwis. Cleaned up by Josh Jacob. 3 Barbars in the breakdown though. Told to not touch player in the breakdown there. Devon Flanders just the 2 metres out from the try line now. The All Blacks 15. That is their own line. And we have got there. What is your prediction for Ireland versus New Zealand match? My prediction for an Irish victory. Says Morne. I did end up going New Zealand by 5, I believe. In a really close fixture. Werner Kok now goes back across to Max Malins. He looked like for a second he was kind of getting himself into the central position for a chance at some sort of kick. Now, Rodri Williams back across. Oh, what a bump off that is from Ruben van Heeren getting rid of Braden Ennor. Now Malins. In fact, that time Rodri Williams. Dalton Papali'i though through the gate. manages to get the steel clubber. Kanye plays the 9. And it's the penalty to New Zealand XV. Lebenberger strong, but looks like he got smashed with a shovel in the face. Well, you can't hold that against him. Look at Quacker Smith. Oh, we have good there. I think Xavier Rowe should have slowed the ball down earlier. It seems he was going way too quick. So here's Tanner 2. And do the New Zealand team have any sevens players in the subs? They have got, in fact, I can just show you the bench for them. That's the wrong one. And that's the right one. There we go. So, yeah, not really. Not really in this scenario. Although Kyle Preston plays a little bit like a sevens player. So he'll be one to keep an eye out for in this matchup. And I wouldn't be surprised if they make that change relatively soon either. New Zealand, 15 forwards getting monstered. Cannot expect Rowe to work miracles. Says studs raised there. The attack line was still getting set, and Rowe was clearing it too early. Such rookie errors. Says freshman, it looks like they are now making a bit of a switch for the New Zealand 15. Kalen Boshier goes off for Sean Withy. And then also in the locking department, here comes Jamie Hanna, a young man with a huge amount of potential. He's just run straight at 2 Springboks for his first carry of the day. Xavier Rowe on off to the right-hand side. Oh, almost a knock-on there from Rowe on the breakdown, but manages to regather. Quacker Smith was hit with a bus in the face, unfortunately. So that is Delaney who went off as well. I should mention for Jamie Hanna. Don't say that about my Hanson Quagga. Says clever. Now pick and go again. Xavier Numia, 40 metres out from the line. Rowe going to the right-hand side. Slinging pass from Jacob, getting a little bit of go forward. Going little kick him behind from Caleb Tangitau. On the inside, Enor chasing. Vern the Cock just out from the try line, and he is going to be tackled and driven towards the sideline. Balls loose, picked up by Xavier Rowe. And he snipes on that one, the 9. And now New Zealand 15 back into this game. Oh, we have got there, yeah, shot for the commentary. H was about to chill until someone begged to pick me up at 3 a.m. with all the hot bottles from his workmate's house. Xavier Rowe does get that little snipe round the side. We have got Nico as a new channel member as well. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. You are now able to have access to those emojis on the channel, but it was a kick from Tangi Tau, initially controlled from Vern the Cock. And then just that ball pops out the side. It was the big clean out from Jamie Hanna, who started making that one move in the breakdown. Ball pops out. Was that? Okay, no, they've checked it and they've said it's all good. South Africa is just dominating world rugby because Rassi is a rugby doctor, says PRXRP. I think New Zealand beats Ireland by 12. Gave it a lot of thought. Irish backline too slow. ABs will handle him. What about Quacker Smith? He is not in the Barbarian squad. Did something happen to Quacker Smith? Nothing at all. He is in the Springbok squad. And he's going to be playing later on today. That kick has missed away to the side, so the score will remain as 19 points to 12. We have got there, where can I watch this game in South Africa? It is unavailable in South Africa, unfortunately, which is a massive shame. But now, sitting 7 points difference. The comeback has begun. See whether or not that tempo that we've seen the New Zealanders play at throughout the NPC does help them in this type of match. Any idea who the New Zealand commentator is for this game? He's quite good. I'm hoping he's going to talk now. He's gone completely silent when I did. No, I can only hear the English one at the moment, unfortunately. He might be the play-by-play guy, perhaps, for this match. Now going off to the left-hand side. The Barbars, all big driving tackle from Jamie Hanna. Ball pops out again. Chance on the counter-attack for the New Zealand 15. Tangitau showing off his pace, winning it up against Lelion Zas. There was a lot of pushing and shoving going there from Zas as Tangitau tried to clean up that ball. There's the knock-on. He is not happy about it, Tangitau. He feels like maybe Lelion Zas was giving him a bit of something too early. They're saying there the shoulder battle. I think there was also a little bit of hand battle there from Lelion Zas. We're going to see it now. Yeah, starts putting his hands on the back before Tangitau does get it. Although you could also argue that Tangitau did still have a decent chance of being able to pick it up. It was dragged back a little bit, but I don't think it made the difference. We have got there. Come on, Gavin. You're being very complaint with your comments. Says Johan. You blame everything on the South Africans, says Johan. I saw about 3 comments early on from Gavin saying take the guys who aren't from South Africa off the field because they're the ones making mistakes. So I feel like that was very complimentary towards the South Africans. Now, ready to put this ball in, Rodri Williams. Does feed it in. Oh, getting crunched there in the scrum for the Barbarians. Ball out for Evan Roos. Tries the risky offload. Another mistake from the Barbarians. However, I just turned on the league, and that guy that joined the All Blacks is in line with Australia. Says Kiwi Rob. Right, they've got the option of the scrum or the line out here for New Zealand, and they're starting to get some really good momentum going. And when is Klakane going on? Hopefully not too long until we get to see the big man make his way onto the park. There's a phenomenal talent. We have there no disrespect to Japan. I'm looking forward to France versus South Africa matchup. But I know you can't wait for that match. There's Mornay. Ball in the hands of the Barbars, managing to take it back off line out time. Cross to Klaba Kanye, tackled by Hannah. Commentary is amazing, says Ray. Thank you very much. We have got plenty more coming today. We are currently sitting an hour and a half into what was going to be about 5 hours straight, if not a little bit more. This ball, it's a challenge in the air. Nicely done by Malins. Didn't actually look like he was ever going up for that ball, really, but more so just to put Jacob off, and it has worked a treat. Rodri Williams goes across to Evan Roos, looking for the offload. The Barbars starting to get a little bit scrappy and a bit loose with the way that they're throwing this ball around. Josh Berry looking for the steal, can't get it. Now, kicked in behind, nicely taken. Are you doing the Kiwis tonight from Eden Park? I am hoping to. That one's going to be kicked high and taken around the halfway line for Ruben van Heeren. And a good tackle from Josh Jacob to stop the opportunity of a offload as well. Kicked in behind from the Barbarians, looking for the 50-22. Caleb Tangitau gets back. Thought about going with the pass infield. Tangitau, 2-man tackle on him. Vern the Cock trying to get the steal on the breakdown. Xavier Rowe going for the quick kick. Ends up getting a double charge down. Berry driven sideways. 25 metres out for the line. The South Africans are too strong. Says Johan there. The first time I hear you do commentary for a live game, mate. I see the play. I view your commentary well. Says Henry, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. We've got plenty more coming today. Offload to Lilian Zas, who is smashed around the halfway line. Dyer's not good at the moment. He's got a head knock in this scenario. He does not look like he's doing too. Flash the Barbarians. One of the inside ball. It will be the knock-on advantage here. Now running onto it. Jacob Ratamaitavuki. Nepkins drop ball on the outside for the Kiwis. But I think they might have to check Dyer here. See whether or not he is all right. I bet he is right, and risky offloads is one of the reasons Rus isn't in the Bok team, says Berry. And something tells me this game is going to be a draw, says Casper. Yeah, huge shot there, and I think George Dyer just got his head on the wrong side. Yeah, that is just shoulder on shoulder pretty much, or chest, and it looks like it sat down Dyer. Oh. Are they going to check this? No. Okay, Robert Dupree having an argument with Nick Berry at the moment. I think they're just trying to decide whose penalty it is. Bongi Umanambi now making his way off the field, though that is going to be for Andre Hugo Fenta. I want Australia to win, but England are no joke. They're getting better and better. Do you still have hope that the ABs would win the Rugby Championship after the 43-team loss to the Box? No. No, I predicted the Box to win from the get-go of the whole Rugby Championship. So I was correct. We have got there. I was complaining about the Welsh scrum half who couldn't clear that ball that led to the try, says Gavin. Now it is going to be the scrum feed round the halfway line. Dire straight, says Eric. Ruben van Heeren, he will make his way off the field. And that is going to be for Cobus Visa. So just in the last little moment, they have made 2 changes and both have been international players making their way onto the field. How about a Box and New Zealand mix? Says Belinda, as in like those 2 sides combining to play another side. That'd be quite cool. We did someday end up seeing it. Now sitting with the 24 minutes remaining. And correct is correct, says Robin. And there as well, Xavier Rowe ready to put the ball in. And when was the last time the Barbarians were all from one nation? Not quite there this time, but with Weber, but mighty close. I don't know if they've ever been just one nation. I feel like they always try and chuck someone else in there. Like for this team, for instance, 17 South Africans and 8 other overseas internationals, or I think it might actually be 6 overseas internationals, sorry. Scotsman, Welshman, Irishman, New Zealander, and 2 English. Oh, and also Argentinian, so it may only be the 16. But then Scottish player, you could argue, I think he was born in South Africa. We have there by a donkey for the Livestream I Match. There's Xander. And the OCS Charles, welcome in. Line out throw here for the Barbarians. And nicely taken inside of their 22, looping around off the back, chopped down. That was Fitz Harding. I don't think we've said his name all throughout this one. This Kiwi commentator for this game is Nick Evans. Says freshman there. And Barbar's tired now. They're not attacking anymore, says Eric. It's definitely gone to a more methodical pace from the Barbarians, and maybe that is just because of the tempo that they've been trying to keep throughout this game. It does seem like, for now, New Zealand are the fresher side, although loose ball picked up by David Havili. Man, just to fend off one and step around Kobus Vesa. Now, another kick in behind from Xavier Rowe. Just goes straight into the hands of Max Malins. That one's gone sideways. That was definitely not where he wanted to kick it, but it's knocked on by the New Zealand 15. Oh, told not to play at the 9. Now, Clubber Kanye. They may not be too far away from making that man come off the field. They have got the Irishman off the bench. And they had a an interception thrown. Caleb Tangitau put the ball down properly. Yes, he does this time. And that is his second try of the contest. But that is the mistake from the Barbarians that they could not afford. They now have gone from 19-0 to 19-all if this kick goes over. Tangitau gets his second, which is looking very Mormon today. Says, cool story and glad to have found this broadcast. This game is not on any TV channel in South Africa. Great work. Says Lance there. But great steal from Caleb Tangitau. Ran it through. No one back there for the Barbars as they were just on the attack. He's picked it up with one hand. Should have taken those odds earlier, mate, says Vice. And they were $2.60 underdogs at one point in time. The New Zealand 15. So were the Barbarians at the start of this game. So it's been a very seesaw type of match. Who did that try assist? I think it was Robert Dupree. I could be wrong, though. Just I'm assuming because it was one of the first receivers. Did go for the pass. Hopefully we'll see it again. 2 hands for beginners. Remembers that on the playground days. So here's one. Have you ever been to South Africa? I have not, unfortunately. Oh, okay, no, that was Fitz Harding who threw that interception pass. The man who I mentioned I've hardly seen today. And unfortunately, he has been involved in a try, but not one for his side. We have there what's going on. Box collapsing to AB Kids. So here's Jimbo kicked off long. I think it's just the gas tank. Starting to get a little bit more difficult for the Barbarians. They're trying to play this game at a tempo that for a lot of these players, they are not used to playing. And it's showing at the moment. Match getting interesting in the later part. Absolutely. 19-all with 20 minutes to go is exactly where people wanted this game to be. It should be a thrilling last 20. Looks like Jamie Joseph reached deep into his coaching toolbox and just bullied his players, says Dominic. How is Klakane playing? Not on the field as of yet. But I'd say he won't be a mile away. That mistake coming from Harding. Going up for the ball was Jacob Ratamatavuki. In fact, that time, Tino Nana Satoro. I do see also that Fusitua has made his way onto the field for Xavier Numia. We also see Lawakai is on. Preston is on. So New Zealand almost emptying that bench. Kyle Preston kicking that one pretty much straight sideways into touch. Is Bongi fit enough? He's already gone off. But I guess in terms of his international rugby-wise, he's never really expected to go that 80 minutes when you've always got either Malcolm Marks or someone like that off of the bench. I saw a comment earlier of the game being a draw. They might be correct here. And AMPC players all have 80-minute lungs. And also, how is Zanathi Klabakani managed to score the first try of the contest? He's been strong at scrum time as well. And they have just actually taken him off just this last play. So he's just made his way on, Jimbo. But now, ball's there. That's actually on the side of Devon Flanders, but he's been told to let it go. So I think he just ended up wrong place, wrong time. But does release and allow the Barbars create that attacking chance. Atena Nana Satoro trying to go for the steal, couldn't quite get it. Rodri Williams, knock on there again from the Barbarians. There's now hesitancy on their part in the contest. Kyle Preston back into the pocket, finds the hands of Jacob Ratamotavuki Nepkins, kicks it forward, nicely controlled with the foot from Max Malins. He will go for the boot downfield. One of the 50-22, can't quite get it. Have you been to South Africa? I have not, but hopefully one day we'll be able to. This one kicked a bit too hard, hits the post and still goes dead. So that is a crucial mistake coming from the All Blacks 15, and it gives the Barbarians a great attacking chance after a bit of back and forth kicking. I will arrange a house for you to stay in 30 minutes outside of Cape Town as my guest. I might not be there, but I'll hook you up. So here's one Pierre Bosch. You see, if I ever do end up doing any sort of like trip planning, I'll definitely have to talk to you guys, because you guys will have the inside knowledge. I'll be going in like a deer in the headlights. I have no idea what's happening. Klakane will be a part of the box squad that wins the 2031 World Cup, along with Pede, Justa, and Vusi Moyo. Says AJS. And how is today, Hamish, is today a day of celebration for you? See, much happier than last week? Says, cool story, not that I know of, it's just international rugby's back. I'm also more sleep deprived this week, I think, so that's a good thing, because that means I'm just in a talkative mood. Right, Rodri Williams, that was the last play of the day for him. Does mean that they will now make that switch. Number 21, Brad Weber, making his way on, and the free kick, knock on from Evan Ruiz. That summarises the second half for the Barbarians. Ruiz taking it quickly and then knocking it on straight away, which gives the ball straight into the hands of the All Blacks 15. Shame we can't see. It is. It's a massive shame that DSTV have not picked up the license for this game. Definitely with the fact that, like we mentioned, there's like 17 or 18 or 15 or, 16 or 17. There we go. We learned how to count. Players from South Africa in this lineup. We have got as well, my days I just returned. Says Sri, did you leave when it was 19-0 by chance, Sri? Because, yeah, this second half's been very different. That's why Ruiz isn't in the box squad, says Albert. I'll take my fist contact as the key, says one Pierre Bosch. And now, scrum has happened. Come out the back for Kyle Preston. Now running it forward, Harvili. Pass it across to Atena Nana Saturo. Kicking in behind once again, though. The Barbarians, they have two men back at all times. Normally Werner Koch and Max Malins, and they haven't really allowed anything through. Now ball's loose again, picked up by Eno. Offloads there to Jacob Ratamotavuki Nepkins. It's getting scrappy here for the Kiwis. Josh Jacob on the ground, bit of a counter ruck from the Barbars. Yes, but was like Ruz better now. At least we got you, brilliant work. So here's one there, and that one's gone into touch from the All Blacks 15. It's as if they worked so hard to get back into this game just to then go back to what they were doing before scoring 3 tries. So this is going to be a very intriguing last 15 minutes, because it will be the case of who makes the least mistakes from these two sides. Looks like Lilian Zas, his day is done. So he is going to go off, and Reno Smith will make his way on. He is an absolute superstar for Benetton. Reves Rehana is onto the field now for Josh Jacob too. And stop kicking, says X. It's become a bit more of a territory game. It's as if both sides... Oh, no, sorry. Josh Jacob stays on. Oh, Evan Ruiz getting through there. I believe that was another knock-on from the big man. And now Reves Rayana, first carry of the day, breaking the line and almost going straight through. But he is on for Jacob Ratamotavuki Nepkins. So I would assume that him or Jacob have slotted into 15. Awkward bouncing ball. Malin safe as houses, but he's now knocked it on. Seems like at the moment it's going to be who drops the ball less in the last 15. There's another knock-on. I don't think they've counted Malin's as a knock-on either. So it's actually going to be the advantage going the way of the Barbars. Kicked him high from Brad Weber. Looking for the 50-22, but he can't quite get it. It was inside, but it was also taken back by the Barbarians. Look at Rehana Karako. Went to get some food, come back, and what happened? Or went to get some food. Yeah, so 3 tries for New Zealand, or at least 2 in the second half. Just a few too many mistakes coming from the Barbarians as the field where I don't think it is. I think it's just mistake after mistake for these two sides, although it is getting... Oh, hang on. There is now rain. I don't know when that happened. The sun was out for the first half. It's the classic English weather. Who's your player of the match? Ooh. That would depend on who wins a little bit here. I would say if the Barbars win, I'd honestly probably give it to Ruben van Heeren. I'd say that he's had a very solid game, and the lineout's also some big hits along the way too. You could give it to one of the try scorers instead. And then for the All Blacks 15, Tangital, because he's got 2 tries, but one of those was very close to not being the try. Matthias Maroni, he will make his way off, and that is for Dan du Plessis. Leibenberg, man of the match, says Eric. Okay, so going with another forward. For the Barbars as well, he has been very busy throughout this match. And Jacob has been great for the Barbars. And New Zealand just need to get a 3-point win. Beating side with 17 South Africans would be very good for New Zealand rugby. Beware of lightning. Yeah, hopefully there's no delays like we had in that Tonga versus Samoa game. We had 90 minutes of filling it all. Loose ball picked up by New Zealand. Another drop ball from the Barbarians. Atene Nana Saturo, the ankle tap on him. Now Havili off to the right-hand side. Good hands from Josh Fusitua. Kyle Preston has gone through and scored. That is the impact that this young X-Factor player can have. And he now scores it and gives the lead to the New Zealand 15 for the first time in this whole match. Preston's pace does bode very well for the Kiwis there. Giselin Colby, man of the match. Get Evan Ruiz off. He's a liability. Says Ruben there. But yeah, another drop ball. It wasn't the best pass from Dan du Plessis, though, in that scenario. And then just passing it off. Kyle Preston decides to just pin the ears back. He saw that he had a prop in front of them. And called it. To bring on the quick sub, says Vice Grip. And Kyle Preston, like they said, there's only one man who will win a foot race between a halfback and a prop, and it was not the prop. How much time is left? Still another 12 minutes remaining. And was that Nanai Saturo run setting up the try? Says Thuds Rays. I would say so. The way that he was able to break the line. A great ankle tap on him as well, because or else he could have been the man who ran through right. The rain is getting really heavy now. One out of full strength by New Zealand. Says Michael, because they are playing up against the Irish later on tonight. That kick has gone over from Josh Jacob, making the score now 26-19. A 7-point lead for the All Blacks 15 here. And Enver is not happy with New Zealand at the moment. I actually know what that means, fun fact. We've had enough people swear at us throughout these live streams to know Preston should be an All Black. He should have got ahead of Finlay Christie. Let's be honest, that would have been the one that a lot of people wanted to see. Low skidding kick. But now, in the hands of New Zealand, big driving tackle on Devon Flanders by Jansi van Rensburg, who hangs on to those ankles. Okay, he might have been hanging on to those ankles because he might be a bit sore. Now, kick downfield again. And that one will go into touch. Now, initially it was taken back by New Zealand, but then they did have that phase. From 19-0 to 1926, wake up the Barbarians. I'm in East London and it's still sunny here, says Dave. It's crazy how quickly the weather can change. Like I mentioned, there was a moment in the first half where Evan Ruiz apologised to his teammates because he said, sorry, I was looking into the sun. That was only 50 minutes ago. All Blacks 15 is a stupid name. New Zealand 15, more appropriate. These players are all junior New Zealand players and not straight from the Barbarians line out. Getting that one wrong for Andre Hugo Fenta. Mostly NPC or under 20, says Dominic. Yeah, I'm not actually too sure why they go with the All Blacks 15. Because to me, All Blacks 15, like you said, it sounds like it's the 15 of the All Blacks. Like, as in the actual team, right? I think there has been a New Zealand A in the past. Or at least the New Zealand 15. Yeah, like, that would have made more sense. Raining hard now, says Gavin. And I wonder whether or not any of the other games taking place in England, either England versus Australia or the match between South Africa and Japan, will be affected by rain. Porthan, for the Box versus Japan. Excited for him and see what he can do. Is that the rule? Can you take it back to your 22 and kick it out on the full if you spend a phase there? I think so. Or at least that seems to be the way that it works in a lot of cases. But of course, I guess you could retreat, but I don't know how that works. Maybe it's where you start your run. We have the sun is shining through my window. And it's hissing rain and freezing. Perfect November weather. All Blacks title should be earned. This is New Zealand A renamed for marketing reasons, I think. Says Dominic. Currently just the 9 minutes remaining. and Fenta first throw skew. As supposed to impress box selectors, says Eric. You're not quite getting off to the start that man would have liked. Now Preston, doing well there. Lauakai to keep it up for the scrum. That ball's gone backwards. Preston under a little bit of pressure. He can kick off both feet. So did have the option of using his right, but decides against it. Ball's available. Reves Rehana does play half. Goes to Jack Taylor. Is the Wembley Stadium undercover? It is not. New Zealand Rugby Union signed a multi-year sponsor deal that demanded all New Zealand rep sides called All Blacks and the Black Ferns. Says Studs Race. But now, thought about jumping up for that ball. The Barbarians have it on the halfway line. Werner Koch, another knock on from the Barbarians. The moment it is happening far too often. I want Buffo on the field. He is just making his way on now. Klikane. He's got 8 minutes at the end of this contest. You could argue that he should have been on about maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago. For AB's 15 win, you have permission to roll out game or two half, same as says Dominic. Yeah, well, it just pretty much summarises this game, doesn't it? 19-0 to then go 26-19. Like, it just shows perfect example that you are just never out of a game. Right, it is actually going to be Fitz Harding who will make his way off of the field, the Englishman. Like I said, Bristol Bears representative there, so Pat Lamb was going to give him a bit of a run around. And Klikane must get in. He is now out there on the field. He is packed down on the side of that scrum. Front row's going down, but Kyle Preston, Reves Rehana going on the outside of Tino Nanasatoro. Again control. Charge down there. Back into the hands of David Havili. And it's the try for New Zealand 15. And that should almost now secure this game for the New Zealand 15. I'm all watching on this channel, then free broadcast on YouTube, lol. Says I am nutty there. And also the drop C's because Barbars are finally under sustained pressure. Says Dominic, but yeah, pass from Reves Rehana close to forward. I won't beat around the bush. That one was pretty close. And then Tenai Nana Satoro, after his little kick, does end up jumping in there and charging it down. Now Satoro has been good. He's been very strong on that left wing side. He's done a lot of things right. So if you were looking at this as a representation of what New Zealand, in terms of the All Blacks, could offer for the back three, you'd argue that they're doing pretty decently at the moment in terms of depth. Barbarians will score twice and the game will be a draw. Says Casper there, watching you from Northern Cyprus. Says Salah, it is greatly appreciated you being here. And what do you think, or who do you think the rain favours, England or the Wallabies? I'd say possibly England, but I don't think it will favour either side massively. That kick has gone over from Jacob, now making the score 33 points to 19. So 33 unanswered points scored. And Barbarians knocking it. It's costing the game. Absolutely. Just far too many errors. England definitely. Says Salah there. And brilliant stuff. New Zealand D beat the South African second. 15 says X. And the Barbarians game completely allowed the All Blacks back into the game. The Barbarians have completely allowed the All Blacks back into the game. Now this one's going to be kicked downfield. And yeah, the half-time, in terms of just the second half, 35 minutes have been played. New Zealand, XV, have scored 4 times. Barbarians have not scored since that try of Evan Ruiz. In fact, no, it was Bongio Manambi scored that try in about the maybe 30th minute. Aside from that, we haven't seen any real attacking chances. Loose ball. Nick Berry's going to ask for it to happen again. And what's happening now? New Zealand is winning, says Ray. And watching from South Africa, says Daniel. Right, the rain has now stopped. In this scenario, rain should favour Australia. Says Dave there. Been running around trying to get my subscription sorted. What a mission. Says Ruth. Well, it's great to have you here anyway for this match. 5 minutes remaining. Then we are popping over to that England versus Australia contest. One's going to be nicely thrown in, taken by Sean Whitby for one of his first touches of the day. Kicked high from Jacob Havili. Chasing after this one. Oh, he's collided hard there, but he's done enough to get the ball on the side of the All Blacks 15. Kyle Preston, little grubber attempted in behind. Ball sits up. Max Malins. That almost looked like a slide tackle attempt. I mean, we are on a football field. You can see the markings on the pitch, but it is going to be the penalty now for the All Blacks 15. This is an easy 3 points to pretty much secure this game fully. Are you commentating on the game later, New Zealand Island? We certainly are, yes. Oh, okay. They're not taking on the 3 points, though. They will continue to try and score extras here. I warn them that the Stormers 15 will not last against the All Blacks B team. Says Eric there. And Nope on DSTV says SJ. And there as well. Now ready to have this line out throw. Oh, rain's back. Sun came out for about half a minute, and then now it's raining once more at the game. But 4 minutes remaining in this contest. New Zealand have got themselves a 14-point lead, but they've knocked that one on. They regret not taking that 3-pointer when it was available. Although it looks like just Robert Dupria able to kick this one downfield. The sun is back out, even though it is still raining. Game is done. They don't need the 3 points here. Timmy Smith. Now, Tino Nana Satoro tackled low by Klekane, who just about rolled out of the way of that breakdown. Reves Rehan, a little bullet pass, going short to Devon Flanders. Now Josh Fusitua, Waikaria pass to Caleb Tangitau. He's already got himself two. Ball on the inside, Reves Rehan kicking it in behind. Preston picks that ball up cleanly and tries to offload it, but it goes straight to Robert Dupria, who does drop that ball, so they'll go back for the initial advantage. Was fitness the issue for the Barbars? I'd say to a certain extent, yes, and then also just that cohesion in the second half. They seem to be knocking that ball on a huge amount, so maybe the slipperiness did end up playing up a little bit. On channel 207, says SJ there. And is the Aussie game on Super Sport? Does anyone know, says Aino. 17 South Africans in the team. Can't win without Russie, says Vice Grip. Is that a hiding Barbarians? Who's their captain? Their captain was Liebenberg. Man of the match goes to Atino Nana Satoro for this matchup. So yes, Tangitau scored 2 tries, but I would say that Nanai Satoro, did do a lot more. Game tempo and prep. Jamie Joseph can combine a team very quickly. Said Studs Rays. Rassi shouldn't have had to explain himself for not selecting Rus. He's a clear step below. Whose ground is displayed? It is Brentford's home ground. Oh. Front row's gone down, advantage now in favour of the Barbarians. They have not scored any points in quite some time, but they wouldn't mind getting 1 try before the end of the half. Robert Dupria going for the cross kick straight into the hands of the All Blacks 15. So they will go back for the penalty again. Ireland are going to smoke All Blacks tonight, says Miracle there. And all these South Americans are bad or retired, mate, says Man there. Yeah, the 3 try scorers, all active box, or at least in that wider training squad. Klekane, not Klekane, he is a future box, but Evan Rose, Klabakanye, and also Bongion Banambi. And early on in the game, don't get me wrong, they were absolutely going for it. But just, I don't know, didn't seem to happen in the second half for the Barbars. That one's going to be booted into touch for the Barbarians, round that halfway line. Now ready for the line out throw. About 48 metres out from their own goal line here, the Barbarians. Rus won't get a place in the box squad, especially with Klekane, Honeycomb, and Eldrick Lowe on the rise. And then also Juan Augustus is in the mix as well for that number 8 jersey. I know that him as well as Rus are both on the standby list. I do think that there's a chance that Juan Augustus will get that nod first. They're going off to the left-hand side. Kyle Preston goes to Reves Rehana. New Zealand looking to use their backline once more. Jacob with a little grubber attempted in behind. Another knock on from the Barbarians. Double knock on there. The All Blacks 15 to drop it to, but just the 20 seconds remaining. Klekane is great though. Klabakanye too. The rest are very all right, says Mand. How long did the players have to train together for the Barbarians, says Tonian? I think they've had this week. I assume New Zealand 15, they're about the same because of the fact that a lot of these guys, or some of them even, were playing in that NPC final only last weekend. I don't think Rus should get a chance. He's very, very all right. Not a team player either, says Mand. Yeah, I think that this game in particular, he has looked a little bit rough. Like, don't get me wrong, he did start this match very well. He had some good moments and got some attacking plays going. Scored himself the try, but yeah, you just wonder whether or not this game has done more damage than good for someone like an Evan Rus. They've been told to use it now. The New Zealand 15, they'll put it into touch and they win this game. 33 unanswered points for the All Blacks 15. Big hug from Brad Weber and a Tenaina Satoro. Those guys are ex-teammates at the Chiefs. And Reves Raihana going over to see Weber there as well. I really can't wait for Wallabies versus Roses. Wallabies by 4, says man. It could be very close. And that game is kicking off in only about 10 minutes' time, I believe. We are going to be starting our coverage in the 5 minutes for that stream. So, of course, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But a big win for the Kiwis in this contest who are the try scorers. So, for South Africa, for the Barbarians, my apologies. We did see Bongio Manambi, Klaba Kanye, and also Evan Rus. Try scorers for New Zealand. Tangi Tau got himself the 2 tries. We saw Xavier Rose score. We saw Kyle Preston score. And then also the other try for David Havili. And GG New Zealand 15, surprised by the result. And where'd that go? None of these New Zealand players were in the NPC final, says Dominic Britt. Wasn't Braden Enor playing in that final for Canterbury? We have to do a quick wee fact check there as he was in this team. And we have got there promising for New Zealand, says Christopher. And also Springboks by 40 and New Zealand by 16, Australia by 19. A good game, my friend. Well done. Jamie Hanna and Enor, says Studs raised there as the two who were playing. And we have got there Barbies had this and then fell apart. And Ruiz just chucked his position in the Bok team away after they. This clearly shows why Ruiz and Rob Dupree are not being picked by Rassi. Too many brain parts and stupid plays. Rugby IQ not up to par. England versus Australia on Supersport Channel 221. And well done, the All Blacks 15. What a comeback deserved. And okay, 1, says Dominic. And also Jamie Hanno was the late inclusion. But outside of that, yeah, I don't know whether or not the New Zealand XV did any sort of training in New Zealand beforehand or whether they just all got on the planes and headed over and had the same amount of time as the Barbars. But 2 more games around the corner for the New Zealand 15. They'll be going head-to-head up against England next week and then also Uruguay the week after. We will be covering both of them on the channel too. But if you did enjoy this stream, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're back in 3 minutes. So not a lot of breaks today on the channel. And we will see you all for that next one.